It was obviously a historic victory for Chancellor Merkel, winning her fourth term yesterday, but marred by the weakest result for her party since 1949. You're close with her and those at the top of the party. What have you been hearing from them in response to the election result we saw yesterday?
I think it would be entirely wrong to only limit it to a historic victory. It was also a historic defeat for the establishment parties in Germany. So the CDU-CSU conservative parties had a dramatic loss in voters, so also for the Social Democrats. So what we hear right now is the parties are nervous. They're nervous. What does this mean for the future of Germany? What does this mean for the next coalition building? And yes, they see continuity with the Chancellor, but do we have continuity? No, we don't. We have the Chancellor, yes, and she'll form a coalition, four-party coalition, by the way, first time in Germany, but that will mean up to 3 months of coalition talks. That will mean a Germany that will be barely prepared to shape Europe at that very moment, when Macron steps up, when Theresa May wants to have any results from Germany. So it's tough right now. So the people are nervous, and there are also already some rumors, is that already the last few years of the Chancellor now, and does such a result call for maybe also consequences in a few years? And
what are the leadership telling you about that? Are you starting to hear rumours about who might move in to take over those leadership roles if we're left with a vacuum?
Well, the thing is, there is not an inflation of talents in Germany across the party lines, but nevertheless, if you see someone who has served for 12 years, done a great job, but parties are ruthless when it comes to the question of who is responsible for a certain result. And it's not the AfD that is responsible, the far-right party newly elected into the German parliament, that is now responsible for her quote-to-quote defeat. It's also partly due to how the conservative parties have acted in the last few years.
And the AfD was the other big story, obviously, yesterday. Entering parliament for the first time, they'll be the third largest party in the German parliament. How much are you concerned, and are others concerned, that immigration will become the main narrative that we hear when it comes to policy making in Germany?
It was already for the last 2 years, and not only in Germany, as we know, in the UK, in France, in Belgium, all the other places. So many Western countries had to struggle with that very topic. The AfD, the fact that they have been elected in the German parliament is honestly a shame. It is a party that consists also of a good number of racist, anti-Semitic people, of people who are using a language we have heard the last time 80 years before in Germany, and so everything has to be done to actually put them back where they actually came from nowhere. And so there is a lot of concern. The only good news is that the SPD, the partner of Angela Merkel in the Grand Coalition, now decided to go into the opposition. So the largest opposition party won't be the AfD, the far-right party will be the SPD, and that's actually good news for democracy in Germany.
But what does that mean then when it comes to coalition building? It obviously makes it that much harder for Chancellor Merkel. We're hearing about the Jamaica coalition that will take in the Greens and the FDP. They're very far apart when it comes to policy stances. How is she going to bring those together to actually form a functioning and long-lasting government?
Right, imagine Jamaica in Germany, which is already, it's an intellectual task, but it means not only forming a coalition with two parties she has not dealt with together. It's the first time in Germany that we don't have a two-party coalition, but a three-party plus one coalition. Because what's also underestimated is that her sister party, the CSU, is not a twin. Is not a party that will make life easier for her in the next few months.
She needs to make concessions with them.
She'll need to make concessions with them. She'll need to make concessions with the Greens. She'll make a first-time coalition with them. She'll have to make concessions with the FDP, who are in a state now that they can spell self-confidence correctly. So the coalition talks will be extremely complicated. I still expect her to form a coalition, and I don't see new elections on the horizon.
You don't see new elections? There is a lot of discussion about that. Actually, if you look at one of our functions on the terminal, it's called EU Go, we can see the breakdown in how the parties won various different parts of the vote. And a lot of people are saying if she cannot make that coalition work, that so-called Jamaica coalition, and the SPD are saying they want to be the official party of opposition, that new elections will have to be called. But you don't think that's something that's going to be
that would be the only option coalition if she cannot form the coalition. You're right there, but she's a mastermind and a master when it comes to finding compromises. But again, it's the hardest task ahead of her in her whole career, bringing these four entities together that come from extremely different backgrounds. So it will take some time, but she's not interested in new elections. She's also not interested in forming a minority government where we haven't got any tradition in Germany regarding this. So I expect her to find the necessary compromises.